Hi, it's Walter Burns from Keller Williams City Life Realty and livingonthehudson.com for this week's Living on the Hudson weekly recap. I'm a day delayed because of the snow. However, let's jump right into it. In the past week, there have been 107 properties that have gone under contract in the Hudson County Multiple Listing Service. This means they have offers that have been accepted on them. Last week, it was 94 properties, so we're up a little bit from last week. These properties had an average list price of $812,000 and a median list price of $725,000. Last week it was $882,000 for the average and $768,000 for the median. So sales slightly up. The price is a little down week over week. Average days in the market, 48 days in the market for the average, 24 days for the median. Last week it was 56 for the average and 20 for the median. Also, really quick, link down below, market snapshot, goes over inventory levels in all the waterfront communities, as well as the absorption rate. That's the pace at which each market is selling, and year-to-date sales, as well as historical data going back to 2004. So you could check that out. You could download that on YouTube. It updates every week. Also, looking for news articles, came across this article. Looks like they're going to be doing a lot of development in the Marion section of Jersey City, which is west of Journal Square. Looks like they approved 490 units. I'll show you on a map where that is. So Journal Square section of Jersey City is right over here. And then they're going to be developing this area west. So it's west of West Side Avenue. This is sometimes called the Marion section. And it looks like they're going to be developing a lot of large buildings in this area, which is not that far from the PAT station. So the PAT station is about 6-7 blocks east of this location. So that's going to be coming in the future. Don't know if it's going to be rentals or condos, but as I get more information, I'll be happy to report back on it. So that's linked down below along with the market snapshot. Looking through the sales in the past week, a couple noteworthy sales over at the Galaxy Towers in Guttenberg. This is a 2-bed, 2.5-bath, 1,546 square foot unit, 7,000 Boulevard East, unit 39F. List price was $449,000, and it sold for $450,000. Cash purchase, 146 days on the market. Galaxy Towers, 3 separate towers, as you can see here in this picture. It's located along Boulevard East and 70th Street. So you have Tower 1, Tower 2, and Tower 3, 7,000, 7,002, and 7,004 Boulevard East. Community was built between 1976 and 1980, and it was really one of the first luxury high-rise buildings in Hudson County. They've since built many more along River Road and into Hoboken and downtown Jersey City, but this is really one of the first ones that was built in the modern era, like starting in the mid-70s. So this unit was a 2-bedroom, as I mentioned, the past Galaxy, 24-hour concierge building. You have on-site rental parking available. It's an amenity-driven community, so you have an indoor pool, outdoor pool. You have a residence lounge area, large fitness center area, business center. So amenity-driven building. And the units there tend to be larger in square footage. So if you're looking for square footage and you're looking to do work and you don't mind doing work, because these buildings were built 40, 50 years ago, some of the units are original. So I have been seeing buyers go in and renovate. I've seen owners that have been doing complete renovations. So it looks like this unit has had some upgrades in the past. It's not a completely original unit. And it also looks like this faced west, this unit. This looks like it faces northwest. Many of the units do have views in the Galaxy, just given the way the buildings were built. They're like hexagonal design. So many of the units either face northeast, southeast, or completely west. So your possibility of getting views is greater there. And this 2-bedroom has sold over at Galaxy Towers for $450,000. Nothing in a large building sold in Hoboken. However, I always talk about the 3-bedroom market in Hoboken being very high demand. Here's a unit at 87 Park Avenue, Unit B. This is located on the south end of Hoboken. It was built in the late 90s, early 2000s. Here you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,504 square foot unit. List price was $1,374,900. It sold for $1,455,000. 1 week on the market. Also came with parking for 1 car. So on the corner of First and Park Avenue, there's several of these buildings that were built in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. A few of them were factory conversions to condos where they took an older building and converted, and several were ground up new construction. And I think this was one of the ground up new construction buildings, elevator building with parking on site, located not far from Hoboken Path. You're on the south end of town. But this 3-bedroom demand is very high right now. In Hoboken, as you can see, this property is selling significantly over the asking price. And why 3-bedroom demand is so high is that supply is very, very low. And supply is low because the city of Hoboken does not approve many 3-bedroom designs. So they approve a lot of 1-bedrooms and 2-bedrooms, but 3 bedrooms has been a product, especially things that were built in the late 90s up until like 2012. They weren't building a lot of 3-bedroom layouts. So when there's demand now for buyers who are looking for more space, and that's why you see properties like this selling for $75,000 over asking. So this 87 Park Ave Unit B, 3-bed, 2-bath, sold for $1,455,000. Moving into downtown Jersey City over at Liberty View, 126 Dudley Street, Unit 311. This is a 2-bed, 2-bath plus den, 1,168 square foot unit. Excuse me. Also parking for 1 car. List price was $999. It sold for full price $999. 83 days on the market. I do not have photos of this interior photos of this unit. However, link down below on my website, Living on the Hudson, I will link to this building where you could check out other sales that took place in the building and see what the units look like. But this community was developed by K. of Nanian Homes in like the mid 2000s, 2005, 6 time frame. They have a virtual doorman here, elevator building, on-site fitness center, and this like 2-bedroom plus den layout is very popular in this building. There's a lot of those kind of layouts here in Liberty View, but you're in the Paul's Hook section of downtown Jersey City, not far from Exchange Place Path and the ferry to New York. So this unit sold for $999 over at Liberty View. Into North Bergen at the Watermark, 8100 River Road, Unit 815. List price was $900,000. It sold under asking for $857,000. 145 days in the market. This was a 2-bed, 2-bath, 1,365 square foot unit with 2-car parking. Watermark located at 8100 River Road. It's basically on the border of North Bergen and Edgewater. And this was developed by WCI Communities around 2007. It's a luxury doorman building. They have an indoor pool and an outdoor pool, very large fitness center, residence lounge. Most of the amenities are on the first floor, and then the pool is up here on top of the parking deck. The building is made up of mostly 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and some 3-bedroom layouts. And this was a north-facing 2-bedroom. So this looked north towards Edgewater. So you see here these buildings in the distance. That is Edgewater, and the glass house is over here in the Pearl. This building, steel and concrete construction, not far from the ferry in West New York, in Weehawken. Also not that far from the ferry in Edgewater, which is further north. The building has the shuttle that takes you to the New York Waterway Ferry does pass through the community. So you can pick up the free shuttle bus and take it to the Weehawken Ferry Terminal. It also runs with the ferry schedule, so it could drop you back off. It's free. It's part of the ferry service. They want people to use the ferry. So you have that added feature here with this building. But this unit, this 2-bedroom, has sold over at Watermark for $857,000. Excuse me, $857,000, 145 days on the market. And finally, not far from the Watermark in West New York, you have the Hudson Club, 24 Ave at Port Imperial, Unit 204. This was a 1-bed, 1-bath, 753 square foot unit. Also came with parking for 1 car. This was a cash purchase, list price $525,000, and it sold for $525,000, 6 days on the market. Hudson Club, made up of 2 separate buildings, 24 Ave and 26th Avenue at Port Imperial. It was originally an exclusive rental building or rental buildings that converted into condominiums in the early 2000s. As an owner in the building, you have access to the outdoor pool here, which is located closer to building 26. And then this building over here on the left side is the amenity building. So the amenities are a separate building at the Hudson Club that the owners have access to. Also, the amenities are shared. This building here is shared between a few other rental buildings in the area. So those rental buildings also have access to the gym, the basketball court, the residence lounge, the business center. That's all in this building. And they also share the pool area. So the amenities are shared at the Hudson Club. And there is a concierge in building 24. So building 24 is the concierge. Building 26 does not. However, they can receive packages there. The doorman can remotely unlock the door and have packages delivered either to building 24 or to 26. So I have customers that live in both buildings, and the process works itself out. But here are interior photos of the gym, which overlooks New York. And this is also very close to the Port Imperial Ferry Terminal. It's also not far from the light rail. And in this community of Port Imperial, you have Acme Supermarket, Starbucks, a liquor store, several restaurants. So it's like a self-contained community. You don't have to use a car unless you want to. Everything is pretty much within walking distance of these buildings. So this 1 bedroom is sold over at the Hudson Club for $525,000. All the buildings I discussed will be linked down below from my website, livingonthehudson.com. If you have any questions about the Hudson County real estate market, you can reach out to me anytime at walter@livingonthehudson.com or at 347-448-3766. Feel free to comment, like, or subscribe down below. These videos come out every Monday normally. Today it's a Tuesday due to the snow. However, I appreciate your time. Have a great day.